much do you know yourself? Do you really know who you are? Are you ready to know yourself better? Come on.
Today, I will discuss about gender and human sexuality. It is also taught in grade 7 and in your elementary days, and also in science. And as you go in college, you will also encounter the gender and equality. There are 5 bubbles in this slide. These are the objectives, pre-test about activities and performance tasks, and the generalizations. So first objectives is to identify the basic terms and sexuality, sex, sexuality, gender, and etc. Second, discuss sexuality as an important component of one's personality. And the last, discuss the 5 factors that affect sexuality and sexual behaviors. So those are the objectives of our lesson for today. Pretest. Directions. Arrange the scrambled letters to form a correct word. Write your answer in your activity notebook. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You will be given 40 seconds to answer this activity. Your timer starts now. Alright, time is up. Let's check your activity with honesty. Number 1 is physical. Who got the correct answer? Great. Number 2, mental. Number 3, emotional. Number 4, social. And number 5 is ethical. In about bubbles, there are 3 sub-bubbles, which is the basic terms, the sexuality, and factors. So let us explore the basic terms of our lesson. The basic terms in sexuality are sex, gender, gender equality, gender role, and sexuality. The first is sex. When we say sex, what comes into your mind? Oops, it's not what you're thinking. Sex is centered on the biological basis of being male or female. Next is gender. Gender is a social concept on how men and women should think, feel, and act. For example, when you are in the mall and you want to pee, you will see the label there for men and for women. Regardless if you are a gay or lesbian, our society or community considered you as a male or female. It is also refers to femininity or masculinity of person's role and behavior. Next is gender equality. Gender equality permits men and women equal enjoyment of human rights. Gender equality is a basic human right and a necessary condition for the elimination of poverty and attainment of national and social and economic development. You will encounter gender equality in grade 10 as one of the UN Millennium Development Goals. We are lucky that the Philippines remains the top country in Asia in terms of closing the gender gap. It is according to the Global Gender Gap Report 2020 of the World Economic Forum. Next is gender role. It is refers to set of roles, characteristics, and expectation of how a man and woman should feel, think, and act as influenced by parents, peers, and society. For example, girls and women are generally expected to dress typically feminine ways and be polite, accommodating, and nurturing, while men are generally expected to be strong, aggressive, and bold. Every society, ethnic group, and culture has general expectations, but they can be very different from group to group. They can also change in the same society over time. For example, pink is used to be considered a masculine color in the US, while blue was considered feminine. People expect that women will take care of the children, cook, and clean the home, while men take care of finances, work on the car, and do the home repairs. Some people are quick to assume that teachers and nurses are for women and that pilots, doctors, and engineers are for men. Sexuality is an integral part of what we do and who we are. It is the way in which we experience and express ourselves as sexual beings. It is the total expressions of the individual's self-concept. So the components of one's personality are first is the ethical self. This is the way you value your relationships. Next is the emotional self, the way you feel about yourself and others. Social self is the way you interact with others. The mental self is the way you think as a man or a woman, and the physical self is the way you look as a man or a woman. It is important to have a clear outlook of yourself. Then you will be able to focus on your good points and develop your weaknesses. If you know yourself well, you will know what you must do to stay healthy. So there are five factors that affect sexuality and sexual behavior. These are family, multiculturalism or culture, peers, religion, and most especially the media. Family. Family values oftentimes determine your own values. Every single thing that you learn about yourself started and came from the influence of your family. They guide you in the proper choice of clothing, toys, and games to play, and the proper behavior. Multiculturalism or culture. Filipinos living in different regions have diverse cultures and beliefs. Your cultural background can affect your values regarding sexuality, along with the norms and standards set by the society. Peers. Peers have the ability to influence a child's behavior, especially as children spend less time at home and more time at school. Like your family, your friends can also have a significant impact on your views on human sexuality. Religion. Traditional values and religious beliefs are among the most common factors that affect sexual behaviors. Religion guides individuals in topics of marital and premarital sex, marriage, divorce, and in terms of use of contraceptive methods. Media. The media plays a significant role in our lives as we regularly watch television, listen to radio, search the internet, read newspapers, and etc. For your activities and performance, there are two activities I prepared and one performance task. First activity is the complete me. Fill in the blank spaces with the correct missing word. Choices are in the box below. Write your answers on your answer sheet. Number 1, sexuality refers to your total self and that includes your strengths and blank. Number 2, it pertains to your physical self and how you look as a blank and a blank. Number 3, the way you interact with others develops your blank self. Number 4, the way you blank about yourself and others focuses your emotional self. And number 5, and the way you value your blank nurtures your ethical self. You will be given 30 seconds to answer this activity. Alright, time is up. Your answer will be submitted in our Google Classroom or send it to my personal uh, messenger or FB account. Your next activity, for each factor that you have learned, provide examples of how this factor affects your sexual attitudes and behaviors. Write your answers on your answer sheet. Number 1, describe how your family affects your values regarding human sexuality. Number 2, describe how your culture affects your human sexuality. Number 3, describe how your friends affects your human sexuality. Number 4, describe how media affects your human sexuality. And number 5, describe how your religious beliefs affects your human sexuality. And for your performance task, photo essay. Cut out or print or draw a pictures of the factors that mostly affects your attitudes related to your sexuality. Please explain the photo or drawing that you made. Paste it on a short band paper and please be guided by the format and rubrics below. To sum up our lesson for today, sex is a major aspect of personality. It is closely related to emotional and social development and can be best understood by connecting it to the total adjustment of the individual in the family and society. The process of sexual development begins from birth to adulthood. Thus, it is a continuous developmental process throughout our life. The purpose of gender and human sexuality education is to promote wholesome family and interpersonal relationships. It aims to provide knowledge and skills needed to establish and have healthy sexuality. And there you have it. Thank you for listening. I hope you get more knowledge in knowing your true self. Don't rush up. It is a lifelong process. Good day and keep safe always.